Welcome to TNT, baby, the naked truth with Taylor Armstrong, where I'm going to expose everything about my life, and my guests are going to come on, get naked with me, and bear it all. Now, let's get naked. So, today we are here with Marlena Quitos, the CEO and founder of Igniting Humanity. And it's a total girl power day, I have to say, on the set of TNT today. Thank you so much for being here. I want to learn so much.
Oh, and you will.
I
It's
can't wait.
exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Oh my
What
gosh.
what's Igniting Humanity?
Igniting Humanity is a name that I came up with. Literally sitting on my sofa, wondering, how do I contribute onto the world? Like, what do I do? How can I help people? How can I serve? And those were the thoughts that were running through my mind. And I thought, there's got to be something else for me that I can dedicate my life to. And I really honestly don't know how I came up with the name on that moment, but it literally just came to me.
I think
Like,
it could be an energy thing because she
I don't
definitely
know.
has energy, like how I
100%.
came about Marlena here. Well, it was a referral from her friend, but then I had met her and she had a chance to speak at an event called Cocktails and Money or something. I don't remember.
What's better than
What was it
cocktails
called?
and
What
money?
was it
You
called?
remember the most
Oh my
important
gosh.
Exactly.
I know. I mean, really. Okay, but it was amazing. But when she got up to speak, I mean, it was a little bit boring until she got on stage. And then it was a treat for sure because everybody got the energy up. They were getting up and getting into it. And so I think maybe Ignite Humanity was because she just ignites that room with energy.
That's
I
awesome.
Yeah.
promise you, I don't know where the name, how it came to me, but it did come very easy. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie to you. It was one of those moments where it was raining outside, I think, and I'm sitting there and I have a very strong faith, with God, and it came so easily. Like, I feel like I almost saw it in my head before I wrote about it.
Yeah.
I was writing about it. In fact, I did write like a whole page about it and what igniting humanity would be for me. But this is close to 10 years ago. Like, I was not involved with
Wow.
Richard Dolan. I was not involved with Grant Cardone. I was not involved with mentoring or coach. I needed coaching. I
Really?
needed mentoring. But it was something that just came from my heart, my spirit, and I promise, I'm going to send you the email of what I wrote because I haven't changed it, but it's still there. And it was all about just helping humanity.
Yeah.
That's all it was about.
That's
Definitely want
amazing.
to talk about all of your evolution from there.
Mm.
But I have to think in our lives, Jim and I
Mhm.
have both lived through some tragedies, and igniting humanity, what drove you to that? Was that a personal life
Mm.
experience that
Mm.
made you sit there and think, I want to make a difference?
Well, I think that ever since I was a young girl, I feel like I was always paying attention to things, and as I was raised, my mom, by a single mom, I don't have a lot of memories of her, to be honest. I just remember her hustling and trying to work, but I don't have the memories that I think I have one park memory where she took me to the park. Other than that, I don't have that kind of memory of like, oh, my love or whatever. I think I was missing a lot of love in my life as a young girl. And so then, of course, we got a little older, and my mom came to the U.S., and so we were left with different family members bouncing around a little bit, and I think I just felt lonely and empty, and I felt like there was a lot to me, and I just
Right.
didn't know how to express it. You know what I mean? So I remember sitting on the stairs writing songs at 7 years old of like heartbreaks. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Wow.
so I've always been very, very passionate. Like, I've always seen things that I'm like, I knew something wasn't right, but I didn't know how to make it better. As
What
I
it
got
was.
older, obviously, and experiences and that sort of thing, you begin to go, oh, I can help, or I can do this, or I can do that, right? But or I can improve that situation. So I think that igniting humanity, if I have to say anything, it came from the love that I feel the world needs, number one, and that we all need to give to one another. And that's the bottom line. I mean, it's almost like a duty, as Grant Cardone says. He talks about money as a duty and responsibility. I look at love and service to one another as a duty and responsibility. And so
Yeah.
I take that very, very seriously. And with that, I'm a walking
Mm.
billboard,
Yeah.
for igniting
Yes, you
humanity.
Well, that's-
are. It's so beautiful.
And
But
that's
a lot of
interesting.
people don't know about Grant Cardone. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
millions and millions do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about how that journey, Igniting Humanity, brought you to Grant Cardone and what exactly he did for you?
So before I got mentoring, before I found my purpose, and by the way, we all need to cause and create our purpose. People
Mm.
think that you can go find your purpose. We all have a purpose. We have to be the cause and the creators of it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. So
I think
you,
so
and a lot of
too.
people don't, oh, you're go find your purpose. No, you have to actually understand that you do have a calling and that you have to be the originator, the cause
Mm.
and the creator of it. So before I discovered what that was for me, I met Richard Dolan. I met Grant Cardone. In fact, I found Grant Cardone on YouTube. I was
Yeah, I
on my
was gonna
way.
say, were you looking for them, or
No,
how did you
I'll
come
tell you
about
the
them?
story and super quick because I know we don't have a lot of time. But so I am driving with my husband to the dumpster in Corona. Okay. We are remodeling our home and we're getting rid of a lot of junk. So I'm dirty, I'm stinky, and he's talking in the truck, and I'm going, can somebody shut him up? Like, I don't want to hear him talking to me and asking me questions. I'm exhausted. Like, literally, those were my thoughts.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a physician, by the way. And so he's asking me questions, and I'm like bombarding my brain. I'm like, I got to find something to keep him entertained. So I'm going, and I'm telling you the truth. That was the story. I find Grant Cardone on YouTube, and I hear him for about 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Me being in the, coming from a sales background and customer service and again, sales and business oriented type of background, I'm listening to him and I'm going, wow, finally somebody that knows what they're talking about, and everything that's coming out of his mouth is right on the money. Like, he is 100% accurate. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that is how I found him, based on what I feel it's been missing from the industries that I've worked in, like the sales industries, the insurance industries, customer service industries. And every time I worked in those places, I was always the one that was, again, looking around going, what is missing? What kind of mediocre job are they teaching us to do? And it's not giving me the results. So I always knew that I had to go above and beyond to, be successful. You know what I mean? And so when I heard him talk about, sales and success, I was like, wow, he's telling the truth. Who is this guy? And so I played it, and my husband listened to it. And the next thing you know, I'm going to the Growth Con in Las Vegas, and he had about 30,000 people on Super Bowl day. This was, I think, I want to say 2019. I can't remember. But he's the man. He is 10x. And, have you ever met him?
I have
No?
not met him.
Oh,
Mm.
No.
You
One of the
ladies-
only people, by the way, that you have not met.
Have you met? But you haven't either, right?
Not Grant Cardone. I'm a Gary Vee fan.
Well, you're going to be a Grant Cardone fan too, believe me. But so
They're all doing good
there's
work.
this thing called
Yes,
10X
that's true.
Ladies, okay? And it's led by Elena Cardone. I've never been to one. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm grabbing the microphone. I've never been to a 10X Ladies, but if you girls ever have a chance to go to Miami and do a 10X Ladies and just understand what 10X Ladies is all about, it's about building your empire and representing 10X for yourself and understanding your worth as a woman, whether you're single or married.
Sounds like exactly what we do.
It does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
And,
is.
It aligns with us.
and yeah, and Megan with grit too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Megan for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that is how I met Grant Cardone, and he is extremely transparent. And there's a lot of course, hate, for Grant. I don't know if you guys keep up with anything, but whenever you have somebody that's super successful, there's going to be some hate.
Of
You know what
course.
I
Oh,
mean?
you know
Yes.
about that,
Oh,
don't you? I mean,
across every
never
yes, of
happened.
course,
It's never experienced
Entertainment's
it.
so
Mm-mm.
kind.
Yeah.
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 But he's super amazing.
You're like, I know that a little too well.
I've talked to him a couple of times, and he's treated me well, and he's got tons of experience, like 40 years of experience. Very
How is your
transparent.
relationship with Grant Cardone? Like going through his process, it's like, do you get a lot of one-on-one time? What are any like key takeaways? If you had to make one key takeaway from
I've
Grant Cardone, what
I've
would it be?
invested money
Mhm.
into his workshops, because one of the most important things to do when you're getting into personal development, you got to be willing to invest either time or money on yourself so that you can grow, so you can educate yourself. So that's what I've done. And when
That's the number one lesson you took away?
that you
That
got to
sounds
invest in
good.
yourself.
Yeah,
for
okay.
sure.
So you have to invest in yourself.
I think time is the hardest thing for me to find to invest in myself, because we're investing in others all the time.
Yeah, and I think that's why
our
those things
children and our
are
spouses,
hard.
and friends.
Yeah.
Just finding the time
And
to
everybody
invest
else.
in yourself.
But think about it.
So
Exactly.
How
that's what
can
that
you
is.
really make
It's
a
to teach you
difference
not
or a
to.
change for anybody if we can't be role models for it,
I agree
Yeah.
100%.
right?
Yeah.
It's not
Just
easy.
doing it. It's right. It's the
Yeah.
process of doing it and being a
Yeah.
little
Well,
bit selfish so you can be selfless after you fix yourself, right?
I think this is a classic case of the procrastination thing. So,
Mhm.
like, if your problem is that you give too much time to everybody else, how do you make time to go to a conference?
Yep.
No, it's almost impossible.
You
It's
know,
like I spent so long procrastinating on my procrastinating that I'm right back where I started. It's
I
just-
don't know though. I think I don't know if it's so much procrastination. I think it's definitely a conversation about self-worth.
Right.
Yes.
Well,
I
yeah.
agree. I agree.
I know.
100%. Because when you start understanding your self-worth and appreciating yourself, you better believe you're going to be like, you know what? I need to be over
I'm
there, not
going.
over here.
Yeah.
Right,
You know
You
what
say
I
I'm
mean?
going.
So
Yeah.
what is the process when you go through a Grant Cardone program? Like, is it online? Do you go to just seminars? Is it a combination of the
It could
two?
be all of it. It could
Okay.
be all of it. It's whatever you can, well, decide to invest on. So it could be online, it could be free. There's tons of, there's books that are now very expensive. There's seminars that he does for free all the time. But yeah, it's whatever you want to invest in. And I'm, just for people to know, everybody needs a mentor, in my opinion. I think that
Mhm.
everybody could
Absolutely.
use a mentor. And think about it, if you want to be really good at something, you want to get your fitness, together, you're going to go get a trainer,
Right.
right? If you want to, I don't know, learn about nutrition, you're going to hire somebody for that.
I also think that's
So,
why mentorship or coaches or whatever, I honestly think you should just take that money you're giving to therapy and give it to somebody who's a little bit more interactive in your stuff, because I understand just the process of how you're working through your problems is different. I feel like therapy is like not as proactive as it could be. I feel like mentorship and coaching is way more proactive and actually affecting your life, in the long run. Some people spend 5 years in therapy. They spend, I don't know, $100,000 or more. And you're like, at the end, you've just been talking for however long, and you're like, oh my God, it could have.
you come out crying.
Yeah, you come out crying. You're like, half the time you feel worse. Like most of my friends
Yeah.
that have gone to like couples therapy, they're like, actually, everything was fine this week. Then we went to therapy and argued all the way home. Like that didn't even have to happen. Not that I do think obviously you need certified doctors and psychologists. Like, don't get me wrong, for a lot of like actual mental issues. But if you're just talking about what happened between your girlfriends and why you're pissed at so and you just need to work through your own feelings and wonder why it made you angry, like, I think you need to get a coach because they're going to help you get through that in the first 5 minutes. And then they're going to spend the rest of it actually improving on that. It's
Well, and
literally cool.
your successes are quantifiable because
Absolutely.
they teach you
Measurable
a
and accountability.
lesson, and then
That
you're
is a
able to
really good
execute
point.
on it.
That is
Yeah.
a great point,
So I
Taylor.
think that
That's
probably
exactly
really helps
it.
your self-esteem faster than
Absolutely.
just bitching,
Well,
And then you're not mad that you
It's
just spent
very
complaining
$200.
the whole time.
there's so much to learn, but I can
Yeah.
only speak from my own experience that I have in the past, in my 20s and as a teenager, paid therapy, therapists
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and nothing has been more effective than getting myself a mentor,
Right.
which is Richard Dolan, who mentored me, who truly is the one that restored and helped me reclaim my self-worth. Because I'm telling you, I knew a lot of things, but I just couldn't locate myself. I was like, what is, I couldn't find myself. I literally
That's a
was
really good point
depressed.
right there. I
I
can't
was
locate
not
myself.
well. I didn't
Yeah.
know what I was doing with my life, and it's when I met Richard Dolan through Grant Cardone that I said, oh my goodness, like, I shouldn't say this, but not only is he like candy for our eyes, you know what I mean? But I'm married, but still, but I was
Right.
like, holy cow, like he has the information that I need, that my
And
brain
charismatic.
needs, and I'm telling you, like, I want you guys to come to meet him because he is responsible for 3 years of mentoring and conditioning my mind.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I needed it.
Yeah.
So does
So.
Grant Cardone help his students, for lack of a better term,
Absolutely.
find a mentor like a Richard
No,
Dolan? Is
no,
that how that happened?
No, Richard Dolan was leading the global licensee department for Grant Cardone.
I see.
He used to do coaching to the licensees that would come on board.
He was a branch
Yeah, but
from Grant Cardone.
but he left, and I
Made his
ended
own
up
tree.
following Richard Dolan. Though I'm still a licensee and I still coach on business and stuff like that, and I can definitely help somebody, get started with whatever they want to pursue in life. But it's for me the most important thing is self-worth.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
When you go into a program like this, do they give you a questionnaire to ask you
Oh,
what
yeah.
your goals are?
A
And
lot of
I mean,
questionnaires.
are
A
there
lot.
but are there really specific things like I want to start a jewelry business or I want to own a med
You-
spa, or is
it's-
it not that drilled down? Is it just
No.
I want to be better at
So,
everything?
No,
Yeah, and everything.
it's all the you check every single box.
Fix
right?
my
Exactly.
brain.
So I feel like I just do the straight down line
Yeah,
like I do
you
at the
don't even need
doctor's
to check.
office,
That's
like
right.
all the way down the
That's
nose.
right.
I don't even.
Right.
I just
You don't
go
even do
nose.
yes, you just go. Pew. No.
On this one, I just go, oh yes.
And then at the end, it
Yeah.
just says like, please help me.
start
Please
start at the top and
help.
work your way down.
Yeah. Yeah, I need you to tell me because I don't even know enough about what's happening in my brain to
Yeah,
answer the
for
first
sure.
question.
Yeah, you got to be honest.
Give me it all.
You
I'll
gotta
take
be-
the full package.
You got to be
Yeah.
honest, and they do ask a lot of questions, and they're challenging questions. And if you are not transparent to what it is that you want,
You don't get
you
helped.
can't get to the source of it.
Well, what's the point?
Yeah, then it's like,
get
why are you
involved
even
if you're just
here?
going to lie to? They don't care if you're lying to them. You're lying to yourself. So
Yeah,
how's that
yeah,
going to help you?
yeah.
I mean,
Right?
we've done enough of
So-
that. We're going to do some soul
Exactly.
searching.
That's
we have
why
to
we are where we are.
Of
expose
course.
That's, we want to get
Make it
past
true.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like, we don't want to BS this anymore. Like, let's just tell the truth about it.
Yeah, so
I
we can get to the
know,
bottom
I
of it and
know.
move
Oh
forward.
my gosh.
Yeah.
To Marlena's point, I want to say this, though. It's really interesting for just people that perceive, because I know that I was a person that perceived like all of these things like as a bunch of fluff. Like Tony Robbins, like all of them, right? But what's interesting is it's like if you just open your mind long enough to step in the door, you'll get on the other side and you're like, oh my God, these people aren't like drinking the Kool-Aid. And if this is what drinking the Kool-Aid is, then pour me some.
Right.
Okay. Because you go and you're like, you start out thinking, this is the stupidest freaking thing. I don't know why I'm here. Everybody thinks they know everything, like all this stuff, right? And then halfway through, when you actually start listening, and there's a point where you're like, oh my God, that's me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's me. Oh my God, that's me. And then you're like, oh my gosh. And then the person next to you is like, I know. And then they have all the same trauma that you have. And you're like, oh my God, we understand each other. And this is why Igniting Humanity is so cool, because at those meetings, all of a sudden everybody comes together and they're like, that is humanity. It doesn't matter whether you're like black, white, gay, lesbian, like whatever you are, like everybody has trauma. They all have to come through the other side of it. We're all trying to be better people. We all want to support our families better. But like when you get in there and you've been there and you open up the can of worms, you become energetic, because when it changes your life, then all you want to do is help other people not suffer
sure.
the way that you were suffering before you came there. So it's not like
100%.
it's not like
Yeah.
this, like I drank the Kool-Aid and hoorah, give me your money.
it's not, you.
It's
if you
definitely
are
cool.
not- if you don't do the work that is necessary,
Yeah.
okay. First of all, you got to have a desire. You got to have will. But if you don't do the work that is necessary, it doesn't matter what it is that you want to do in life. If you can't get to the source of who you are, you first got to know who you are.
But that's
you
it.
really do.
When
and
you
then
figure
you
it
gotta know
out.
what you want.
Yeah, but when you figure it
Yeah.
out, you just want other people to figure it out too.
Absolutely.
And then it's
Yeah.
like this crazy thing when you say like do the work. So I spent a lot of years not doing the work. You know what I mean? Avoiding it at all costs, literally.
Yeah, for sure.
At my family's cost,
Yeah.
at my cost, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, I was like 300 pounds, just
Mm.
totally miserable, like everything. And when you finally are like, I'm either gonna die or I'm gonna put in all the effort. And honestly, like I was so fat, like I thought I'm gonna die, literally. Like walking from here to out the door would have been like, oh my God. All of a sudden you look at curbs like, am I gonna break my ankle when I walk off this
yeah.
curb?
Yeah.
Literally, I had this
Not
thought.
to mention what it's doing to your
But
health.
Your
know what I mean?
health, and you're
Yeah,
like, it's
yeah,
literally like
for
I'm gonna
sure.
die from this.
Yeah.
Like, and I think I was like so depressed. Like there would be times where I was just like, oh my God, I don't even want to eat this bag of whatever, but I'm literally torturing myself on purpose. It's like a mental problem. And so I had to take the bull by the horns and fix it. And the thing is like, and I was totally against all of it. Oh, therapy's not going to help me. All these things are not going to help me. You know, these big decisions aren't going to help me. Nothing's going to help me. But you just have to like every morning just be like, today I'm going to do something different.
Right.
And today I'm going to wake up and try it.
Yeah.
And so then you go to those places and you're like, I pushed myself out there and I'm like living a completely different life with, you know, and all I want to do is have everyone I know not deal with the pain, because you don't have to go even another day like that.
That's right.
You don't have to
Yeah.
wake up. You can wake
Correct.
up. You can wake up the next morning and just be a different
That's
person.
right.
You just have to decide. And
Yes,
it's like
I love
so
that.
upsetting.
Don't cry.
I'm gonna cry
Make me
because
cry.
it was so hard. But like
If
you just
wanna
want
cry,
to
I'll start crying.
You just
can
do
all
the
cry.
work.
we do some
You
crying
know
right
what?
too.
Listen to me. This is
It's
you're
just do the work
absolutely
is so
correct.
less painful than living in the hell that you're still in.
We all igniting humanity is really about reminding people that we are alive, okay, and that we could be here today and gone tomorrow. Okay, we've seen how fragile life
We
is,
know that.
and
Yeah, we
it's
do.
about loving ourselves so much that we can love other people, of course, but it's also to remind ourselves that we are worthy of having the dream, the destiny that God wants us to have. Because a lot of times we don't think we're worthy, and we
No.
need people, us, to remind ourselves, no, 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 you don't get it. You
Yeah.
are worthy of it. You
Yeah.
do deserve to have love in your life. You do deserve to be healthy. You do
Right.
deserve to stop any addictions you may have.
Right.
You do. God loves you. You're not alone. You know what I mean? It's what I do is for example, at Mercedes today, um, I was. I'm a little serious when it comes to customer service. Like if somebody doesn't provide customer service to me, I speak up, okay? Where my husband would be like, "Don't say anything, be quiet, don't tell them." And I'm like, "What do you mean not? I'm gonna tell them. I want to help them. But so I walk in, and the Mercedes, I was like complaining about something, and the girl that responded to me, that was in charge of taking care of my issue, was so kind and so nice, and she just made me feel better, obviously. Um, and then I looked at her afterwards, and I'm like, "What else do you want to do with your life? How long have you been here?" And she's like, "I've been here too long, 6 years." And I'm like, I looked at her and I knew there was more to her. And I thought, what do you want to do with your life? I want to go into the beauty industry and I want to own a salon or something. And I'm like, come with me. You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
so that's what Igniting Humanity does. It's not that I don't benefit a lot from it. It's
Mm.
energy. You're correct.
Yeah.
I use a lot of energy. I'm on the phone with people that are suffering from alcoholism, that are depressed, that have been abused. To me, that is my job. That is what I'm in this earth for. And like, if
Right.
I would cry about that
And
all
that
day
takes a lot
long.
of energy.
But it's what I feel
It's,
God has put in my heart
Yeah.
to do, because I see such a need for it.
Yeah.
And we're focusing constantly on the wrong thing. And now, don't get me wrong, money is important. Money's important, because without money, we can't really do a whole lot.
Right.
We need money to be able to help people. Okay, people need clothes, like they need food and shelter, right? But more than anything, if we have our human spirit,
Mhm.
if we have our heart, we can do great things with it. And it's like, how do we come together and how do we do it? How do we help one another and cut the BS? Like, tell the
Right.
truth
Yeah.
about things.
I would think that at these conferences, you must meet people that help you hold yourself accountable for doing the
Absolutely.
work, because Gemma
Absolutely.
and I
Mhm.
are pretty good at doing that with one another. It's just,
Yeah.
okay, we said we're going to do this. So what steps are we taking today or
Right.
tomorrow to make sure
Yeah.
that these things are going to happen?
And
And
get
when
it
you have so
done.
many irons in the fire, like everyone does, is having someone there to help you be accountable. So you must have
Yeah.
a huge collection of people that you meet.
No. I'm going to be honest with you. This is a very lonely world. I'm not going
Yeah.
to lie to you. But the cool thing about mentoring is that when you get your mentoring from the best, you're equipped.
Yeah.
And so, sure, I'm human and I go through struggles. There's some days when I'm like, gosh darn it, like I'm having troubles with my energy, with my conviction or whatever, right? But I do text my mentor sometimes from time to time, and I'm like, hey, Richard, having
Yeah.
troubles with this. And he just has a way of aligning me back to my calling. And the cool thing about mentoring is that when you find when you discover, okay, when you're the cause and creator of your purpose, you can get back to your calling. And anytime you're down, and anytime you want to reach for that glass of wine, or anytime you want to reach for the drugs, or you want to run back to your abusive lover
Or drive through
whatever,
McDonald's.
you're like, wait a minute, no, I'm gonna start doing a little bit more on this, which is your calling, and it absorbs you, it sucks you into your calling, and it keeps you alive.
You
So,
described Richard Dolan to me as intoxicating.
ooh, yeah, is that what I said about Richard?
You
Yes.
did. I wrote it down.
Yeah, Richard, you're
He is
intoxicating.
pretty
So
cute
that
too.
is exciting
You
that
need to go,
he
Taylor. I'm telling
becomes
you, you guys need to
intoxicating
go.
to you instead of running to a
Well,
drug or to
hell no,
something
yeah,
to
no. I'm like,
intoxicate you away from things. He intoxicates you to move forward.
He's gonna be at her
he-
event.
yeah, you are
Yeah.
gonna meet him, right?
Yeah.
You need to take Taylor.
Yeah,
Even if
Taylor's
you
gonna
go
come.
for a little while, Taylor.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd
Go.
love to go.
Even if you just go there and listen to Richard and me.
Yeah, of course. Of course I have to
No,
listen
'cause
to you.
you guys, this is my first event, Taylor.
Oh, I'm
this is
excited
my
for
No,
you.
at
Yeah.
this kind of event,
Yes.
like at the montage, and And again, the Montage is just a beautiful, magical place that
It's
I
right
wanted
by my house.
to
I
again
know.
meeting the Mercedes girl, my cleaning lady's daughter. Like I want to bring them to this kind of location and not have them wait 20 years. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
5 years, when they start making money. Like, no, if I have the ability to bring people to a beautiful place like that, let's bring them. You know what I mean? And that's how
Absolutely.
I feel about it.
Mhm.
I'm not a part of the inner circles kind of thing. I'm not very much into like, I want. I want everybody that wants something and more of it in the right direction to be a part of my life. That's
Yeah.
the way that I roll. So you do need to meet Richard Dolan if you have space and room in your life to grow.
Absolutely. I literally live
Mhm.
right down the street.
Yeah.
So I'm
That's
I'm
true.
definitely
That's
going to come
true.
by. It's something that you said about the girl that was working in the Mercedes
Mhm.
dealership reminded me of a mentor that I have had in my life. And I mean, he's not intoxicating, don't get me wrong, but he's pretty awesome. But he said to me a long time ago, and I ask people this a lot, and I think about this girl in the
Mhm.
Mercedes dealership is he says, if you can do anything
Mhm.
without fear of failure and you
Mhm.
know
Mhm.
you're going to be the
Mhm.
best at it,
Mhm.
what would you choose?
Right.
And for her, I feel like in that moment, it was she wanted to own her own beauty salon and be an esthetician or, whatever
Yeah.
those things were. But it's sitting in the back of her mind. But all of those things are possible
Yeah,
and
Right.
they are.
achievable. It wasn't
Exactly.
like I want to be president, where
I
it's just like
know.
something that
Yeah.
is
Seems so
it
far
seems so
away.
far away, but something as easy as it seems easy to
And
us
that
as going
Yeah.
to beauty school and
that's
taking
right.
that first step.
Right.
That
And
is
you hopefully gave her that
exactly
motivation.
what
Mhm.
we need to feel like all the
Yeah.
time. There shouldn't be those keepers. I am taught about three keepers: ego, judgment, and fear. They're constantly there with us. We can't get rid of them. They're like always there talking to us. Okay. Ego, obviously, you guys know what ego does. It prevents you from loving. It prevents you from moving forward or like working out a deal. Or ego gets in the way. Pride gets in the way. Judgment, you're constantly judging yourself or judging a situation that hasn't even happened yet. You know what I mean? And then you have fear that, well, it paralyzes you from shining bright. And so these keepers, again, taught by Richard Dolan to us, are always there. They're always governing us. The goal is to be able to see them, locate them, and go, get out of here. Like, move out of the way. I'm coming through. Why?
Mhm.
Your essence has to come out. Your true essence has to, overcome everything. And so it's very interesting. Think about Adam and Eve, and I, not to bring, I am a person of faith. I don't know if you guys are, but I 100% know where my power is coming from, and that is from God. Like,
Mhm.
I don't care. Like, I am nothing without my faith, period. Like, zero. And I've been through that kind of pain where I was like, holy cow, God is real.
Yeah.
But when you are able to locate those keepers, boy, talking about if you knew that you could have whatever it is that you want, that you need, and you don't have to fear because you can get there, like you can have it, like what would stop you?
So many things. That's why
Fear.
you need a coach
Like
to
if
work
you
through
can remove
it.
judgment from
Right.
your
All those
life,
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think fear is the most prevalent for most
Yeah, and
people
it doesn't
is
always come across, I think, like as fear or what you think you're like scared. Like when you think of being scared or scared of a bear, right? Or scared of an intruder in your house, I think that like real fear is totally based on something else and it's so subconscious that you don't even know you have it.
I'll give you a hint. Most
You
people,
know?
when they think they know their keepers, and which one is the one that's the most the most powerful one, they're not accurate.
Yeah, so what are they? It's fear,
There's layers that you
judgment,
gotta peel off, and then you get the truth.
fear,
fear,
judgment,
judgment,
And
and
ego.
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 I would say judgment
I'm
with fear,
judgment.
I can feel wrapped up together. Like
Mhm.
I'm
Well, it
fearful
is.
that if I try to start this business and it fails, then I'm going to be judged
So
for
Yeah,
what's
failing.
that
exactly.
hurting? No. So what's that hurting?
What's hurting would be hurting me
Thank
if that
you.
were the case.
Where does that come from?
Fear, right?
Ego.
Oh, ego. Because I just don't think of
Because
ego as
if you care about losing, if you care about not succeeding, if you feel like you're gonna let somebody
Right.
down, who
Right.
is it?
Like-
You.
okay.
But what if you do know that if you don't succeed or you do fail at times, it's okay. You're not attached to it. What if you don't become attached to things? And all you
Yeah.
focus
Hard.
is like all you focus is your purpose, your calling, your energy, like what you put out there. That's all you care
I
about.
feel like it's that actually what she just said, I feel like is actually a major key is like to, yeah, not, and it was like when I had described the kids, like when I get upset with my daughter or like how I have to remind myself that she's not mine. She just came through me.
That's
I need
right.
to like not have that attachment. Like she doesn't owe me anything. I don't owe her anything. Like you know what I mean? It's like you have to kind of take that away and then it doesn't hurt as bad. Like all the things that your kids do to you.
Absolutely.
But like,
Right.
it's like you have to somehow remove yourself. I feel like it's that way for everything, right? You attach yourself to a wedding ring. Like you're going to choose your spouse
Exactly.
based on a wedding ring. You attach
That's
yourself
right.
to a car. People will think more of me if I have this car as opposed to that car, right? Doesn't matter what you actually like. Like
Yeah.
I love driving a minivan that I can travel anywhere in.
That's right.
And it's like,
It serves
why don't you get a
right?
new car? I mean, I cannot tell you how many people every freaking week say, when are you getting a new car? When are you getting? I'm like, I'm almost not doing it on purpose now. So there's that. But I think you have to like just detach yourself from things. Like also like you buy like a coffee table and you invested in this coffee table and then your kid leaves a thing on it and puts a ring on the coffee table. Now you're arguing with your kid, interfering like, I don't know, love, sense of security, all these really actual real things, right?
Sure.
Over a ring on a coffee table.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's because you've built attachment to it. Now I understand it if it's like your perception is I earned this or whatever this
Sure.
is, but at the end of the day, it's just a coffee table. You can't take it with you and you know, all these things. And it's the same with cars. It's the same with jewelry. It's the same with designer bags, right? Like we have these attachments to things that literally in the end are just robbing our family of our long-term financial legacy, much less other thing, time,
Well,
energy
also taking you, distracting you from
from
what really
yourself.
needs you,
Yeah.
which is again your purpose
Yeah.
and your calling.
I agree.
Period.
I feel like that
if
attachment's
we
a big
can
deal.
just work on that, in my opinion, the world would be a
Just
much
that one
better
thing.
place.
Just the one thing. Don't attach yourself or your worth to any items or things.
Exactly. No, and it's hard,
It
you know,
is,
because we're
yeah.
human beings,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I think less for the material things as for goals, like
Right.
feeling like if I try and then I fail, like you
But
said,
that's
what
it's
it
like
takes to
fear,
succeed.
ego.
Yeah, but
right?
you have to fail 100
fail. You
times.
have to, just as long as you never quit.
Right.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's not quitting.
And it's all about like, okay, knowing yourself. Like, who am I? What am I all about? What do I really want? You know what I mean? And it really is about knowing who you are.
See, that's another good keyword. Because
Yeah.
even when I was like, okay, I'm at my worst time, I'm physically at my worst time, all those things, I literally made a cautious decision. I'm either going to quit and accept the fact that I become my mother and or I'm going to change everything. And then you're like, well, if I'm going to die anyway, it can't be that hard to change anything.
So you started thinking about throwing the towel early.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm just
kind
going to
of too.
accept it. I'm going to
Yeah.
be miserable. My knees are going to hurt and I'm just going to get sick, get diabetes and
So
sit
what
on the couch
changed
till I
you? I'm
die.
interested. What moved you?
I just didn't want to. I'm made for more than that. That's it. It was
there
like, I
wasn't
can't
one
accept this
moment.
anymore.
But what was your defining
Mm-mm.
moment of like, you know what,
Nothing.
I'm gonna.
You want to know what it is?
What was it?
And I think I've told you this story before. I was doing a big event. I had a book deal and a blog deal and all these things. And I got asked to do this big catering event at above the penthouses in Hollywood or whatever, the W at the top. And I'm standing in a circle of people and I don't mean anything against this actress whatsoever, but she's a very large woman, right? And everyone knows that that's like part of her character, right? She's a very large woman. And so I'm sitting there and I never thought I was that big. Like I was in complete denial that I had gotten this like overweight and miserable, even though I physically felt horrible. So, and these people are like, oh my God, you have such beautiful eyes. You look just like that actress from This Is Us. And I was like, what actress? And this other guy's, well, he's like, oh yeah, you do have a smile like a Mandy Moore. And then the other guy's like, no, not Mandy Moore. And then all three people literally flipped and walked away at the same time. Like I was standing there and they all like, I don't think any of them knew the other ones were walking away, but they all just walked away at the same time because they all were like embarrassed for me. Right. And they didn't know, they were like, whoa. The guy was like, and the guy that said it was like, oh, like I think I was just insulting. Like, you know what I mean? He didn't say anything, but I saw his shock come over his face at everything. And it was just really a weird euphoric moment for me. And on the way home, I was like trying to look up the actress and I was like, oh my God, she's so overweight. I mean, nothing against her. She's a beautiful, talented woman, but she's so overweight. And they were like, and we do have this, almost exactly the same eyes, right? Like we look the same, like from here. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like, I got to do something. This is like out of control. Like I had no idea I was that out of control. Like I thought I was fat. I thought I was that. So and in that same week, we went to the place in LA where all those lights were. You know how they have all the lights and they're like lined up, the big, beautiful lights and people take pictures.
Yeah.
So I was doing blogging. I was a professional blogger at the time. So we're taking pictures. My husband's taking pictures. There's a picture that he took, and there was a woman in it. And I was like, I don't remember that woman standing there. And he's like, that's you. And I was like, "Oh my God." Yeah. When it's so out of control, you don't recognize your own
For
reflection.
sure.
And then you realize
Sure.
you haven't even really looked in the mirror for over a
Yeah.
year because just except to wash your
Yeah.
face. Like I never really stopped and looked at myself for almost a year. So it was like, because I just was so disgusted by myself. And it
That's
was like
crazy.
crazy. It was just crazy. And so it was just like after those three things happened, I was like, this
Ready
is
to
this is
change.
just you got to do something. Your
Mm.
kids are, watching you, and this is like out of control. And it happened really quickly too. Like we were working on this big event called the Cake Expo of
Mm.
all things.
Huh.
But we were eating out like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. My husband's like a solid 3 meals a day person. I could eat like one meal and be fine, but he's like bringing home food. It was like bringing you Starbucks, picking up dinner at Wood Ranch, doing like what, I mean, I think I was consuming probably like 4,000 calories a day
Wow.
and like didn't
Wow.
even really
That's
think
a
about
lot.
it
Yeah.
at all. And then it was like, okay, I got to do something. When I decided to do something, I was like, it was so hard. Literally, I would like lose 20 pounds, gain 25 pounds. I mean, this went on for like 2 years. It was like, now I'm going to do keto. Now I'm going to do the HCG, whatever shot thing and eat
Yeah.
nothing but
Yeah.
spinach. And then you like lose 30 pounds. But when you're like 100 pounds overweight, when you get to 100 pounds overweight, the amount of people that attempt to lose that weight and can't lose it, it's mind boggling. It is so hard because you have to literally you're in it for the long haul. This isn't like I need to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to diet for 30 days. It's
Oh, I
like I
see.
got to
For
maintain
sure.
this
For
for a
sure. It's a
year.
lifestyle change.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got to
It's a
stop.
mindset change and a lifestyle change.
And I was a
Yeah, for
blogger.
sure.
Food was a form of entertainment
True.
and
Wow.
finance. So it was like, okay, I do a post for whatever restaurant. I get me $2,500, $3,500. It's like, okay, we're going out and eating at this restaurant tonight. And it was like, okay, we're doing that again tomorrow. Okay, we're doing
Wow.
it. Was like eating things nobody should ever eat Sundays. I mean, come on, everybody's on Instagram. We were eating all that stuff, literally. And my husband was gaining weight, and it was like, oh my God. And then I had a book published, and I'm going to tell you a quick story, really funny. So I made this dip. It was a recipe in my book, and it was like 4 bars of cream cheese, right, to make this dip. And we take the photos, we're photographing it. They're done with the photos. And I go to get the container of dip. I go, where is it? And my husband's like, I ate it. I'm like, you ate it? Like the whole bowl? Because it was only like a bowl like that big.
Right, but it
I'm
was
like, you just ate 4 bars of cream cheese, man. It was like so
I love cream
crazy.
cheese once upon a
It was like,
time.
what? I'm like, yeah.
it's interesting
crazy.
that when you describe the moment when the 3 people walked away,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so vivid. Like
Yeah.
I feel like you can remember their faces and everything.
The whole thing, I was wearing the same dress I wore, which now I feel looks like a muumuu. But like it was like, yeah, I remember the lighting in the room, like them standing there, the view from the beautiful penthouse, and they were just talking, and everybody was complimenting me on everything. And then he was like, "You have eyes just like that actress."
Mm,
And then it was just like, but what was horrible more than the comment
Mm.
was everyone else's reaction to it.
right.
So it was like
Just think like, okay, so
crazy.
you made progress. You decided to take charge, and
Yeah.
it was based on other people, like
Right.
their
Yeah.
observation, how it
It was
made you feel,
judgment.
right?
Yeah.
Just imagine, like you've stepped into the space of action, but just imagine what you can do when you start owning it.
Yeah.
Like different. It's different. Like when you really are doing it because like you're owning it.
Yeah.
Very different.
It is totally
so you
crazy.
still have like a lot of room to be able
Oh
to
no, that
go,
process happened in that process.
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Like it's like when you finally get past when the first person's like, okay, you lost weight, and then you're like, okay, now I'm gonna get serious about it.
Yeah.
Like when
yeah,
people start noticing a difference, it makes it a lot easier.
for sure.
It's just
for
getting
sure.
to the point where anybody notices anything, right? And then if you notice something, then you're like, okay, now I got to keep going. And then I blogged about it on Instagram, and I have to tell you, like the following the progress on Instagram, and I was in a bunch of groups and stuff online, and you make friends with other people that have the same goals.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if it wasn't for that group and me
Yeah,
having to show up every day, I
yeah,
probably would have
for
failed
sure,
100
for sure.
times. It was literally just like, oh my
Yeah.
God, this one girl from Kentucky,
Yeah.
like is expecting my
Yeah.
my post the next day, and it's like, oh my God, I gotta get up
It-
and work out for this girl.
That's what
Like,
it
that's
takes,
what did.
community. And I think, uh, we have so many means to be able to communicate, and what the heck are we doing? So I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, what is happening?
Yeah.
So how many people would someone like Richard Dolan mentor at once? I mean, he
Well,
has finite amount of
He
time
has
also.
a program. He has a digital program now, a platform. But when he did that mastery program, it was called a mastery program. There were only 10 of us, and I'm I don't know when he'll do another personal like that, because he was about, I kid you not, 7 hours a week of intense critical thinking and reflection and that sort of thing. It was, for me, it was hard. I mean, I did the homework, and it was,
To get through the program, like it forced
yeah,
you to dig into your own
like, yeah, and
identity.
it's not comfortable. It's
Yeah.
not
No.
comfortable, but one thing I did do is that I was always protecting my privacy, and so I would always give him my homework. But the people that joined the program are amazing people. They're great people, and just for me, I can only speak from my experience. It just did wonders. Like it kept me alive.
I'm so excited
I
for
love
you.
it.
And you fell into or were gifted with the right hands to protect you, to move you along your journey.
And
Because
you know what's funny? I prayed for about 10 years. And again, without knowing, like, but I just remember praying to God, saying, Lord, please send me somebody that can help me restore my mind and my heart and my soul. And like, I need an actual person that can speak my language, and it happened. So when
It
I
did
heard him
happen.
speak,
I
I
know.
was like, what? Like, I need that guy. And I literally emailed him like for 3 months. Richard, I need coaching from you. Richard, I need coaching from you. I don't do public coaching, for people. I'm like, I'll pay you whatever. Like, how much do you want to get paid? Like, maybe I can
Right.
afford you. And so he's like, you know what? Like 3 months later, he said, I'm gonna open up a mastery program. And you want in? I'm like, yes. And so I did. I joined.
That's
It was the best
awesome.
thing I did for
And
me.
how
Like,
long
one of the
ago was
most
that?
important- 3 years ago.
3 years.
Yeah. But it was,
Mm.
and yeah, it wasn't that cheap, but it wasn't, oh gosh, I would do it again.
So
I
what are
would
you
do it
doing
again.
now? So what are you doing now? So you
So
have your event.
now that I'm able to start mentoring, which is something that I fell in love with, mainly like you said, once you go through what you go through, and you've suffered and you've been in pain, I'm just blessed that I didn't get lost, right? You want to share it with other people. You want to help other people, and it's like it's a life and death situation for me. Again,
What do you mean by that?
Like, people, you're meeting people all day long, and you're seeing their faces and their eyes, and you hear their words, but there's something going on behind them that you don't know about, that they don't talk about.
Mhm.
And they're struggling and they're hurting. And those are the ones that motivate me to say, we got work to do.
I feel like that's a lot of people. We got to get started.
That's all of us,
Got to
right?
get started, because literally that's a lot of people.
But
I
if
think
we don't
everybody
start
has
doing that,
Yeah.
where are we going to end up as a society?
Right.
Like, how much worse is it going to get? I don't want to see that.
That's one other reason why I think coaches and mentors over, say, therapists is like most people that are coaches or mentors, you have lived through it and come to the other side. And so like you want to show other people that they can live through whatever they're going through and get to the other side of it.
You're not alone.
I think that's
You're
I think
not
that's
alone.
totally it. It's like I would rather have somebody that's literally getting to it. And I know for you too, whatever healing happened through you through that program, the more you continue to help others, the more it keeps you healed. It does.
Absolutely.
It
And when you
it's
said,
part of it.
it said, accountability, when you're like, oh, you got to have probably a lot of people.
Right.
To be honest, the truth is that when you are helping people and you're doing things for them, you got two types of coaches and mentors out there. The ones that just talk the talk, but they're not doing the work. You look in their closet and you're like, holy, like, scary. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty scary. The skeletons in the closet.
Oh, right.
You
Like,
look in their closet
I'm not
and it's like,
kidding.
well, that might be too much.
You go in their house, you're like, whoa, see you later. You know what I mean? Like, so it's very important to walk the talk and to be able to, that's how you keep yourself accountable. I personally cannot tell people what to do if I'm not the master of it, like doing it. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, of course, look at me. I showed up with my Valley dress here.
Straight from the airport.
Perfect.
But I'm doing the hard work.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm doing the hard work, and each day it's an opportunity to go at it even more. That's it. Like, harder, lean on it.
Yeah.
And that's what we were meant to do, not to survive. We're meant to thrive. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I love
So,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
I
This
love
has
it
been like
too.
so awesome having you
I know,
on.
we've loved it.
Like in
Yeah.
this event. So tell us, like, just in case anybody wants to know, tell us where the event is, what it's about, who's speaking there, all the things.
you're gonna be there.
Yeah, we're coming.
We're
We're gonna
coming.
come for sure.
We're definitely coming.
Igniting Humanity at the Montage in Laguna Beach, California, and it starts at 7:30 a.m.
Oh,
and
you
it
lost
goes
me at
on
AM.
till 9 p.m. and it goes on till 9 p.m. Tickets are
Oh wow, that'll be an awesome
I'm
day.
definitely able to like, not me personally, but me too. I can sponsor some people. You know, I'd have to know who they are and where they come from and that sort of thing, and how much they want, you know, personal growth. But it's $397 for like a regular admission, and then I hate to call it a VIP, but that's a very, you know, your very own spot, like as a VIP, for like $1,100. But that includes your breakfast, your lunch, the talk, of course, meeting the events, and a dinner at the Montage. And so, yeah, you know,
That's nice.
And great networking with other
Wait, and
people
who's
that want to
and
succeed.
who's speaking again?
So I have Richard Dolan,
Richard
Greg
Dolan.
Reed from Secret Knock out of San Diego. I don't know if you've ever heard of Greg Reed. He's been around for a while. Amazing communicator, super inspiring. I have an attorney that's coming from Miami, my good friend Courtney. She used to be an attorney for Grant Cardone. She's licensed in several states and countries. A heck of a woman. And the rest of them are speakers that I've selected because I thought they have something special, a little extra special, and I want them here. So I call them up and they're like, yes. And so they're flying out and coming out and not paying anybody.
This is gonna be an amazing
They
day.
all came, they're coming because they love what they do, you know. And so at this point, because I'm starting, it's just, you know, I'm like, I don't have money to pay you right now. Like, I'm funding this event with my partner, but I want it to be a you know, a gesture of their commitment to how they want to change lives. So
I love
It's very
that.
powerful. Where can people find you on social?
Instagram, so Marlene Quiroz,
Okay.
Marlene.Quiroz 2.0, and send me a DM. I have a Facebook, I have my website, but the best way to do it is through my Instagram.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
definitely
And we'll
feature
put the
that.
links
Of
below
course.
for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we can't wait to see you at the event. I'm so excited for you. First one, it's going to be amazing.
Thank you, Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you for
Thanks.
having me. I
I've
appreciate
loved having you.
you.
Oh, it
Loved
was
having
great.
you. We only
Thank
cried
you so
once.
much.
I'm proud of us.
Thank you so much.
You have
Thanks
to
for
come
my
back.
bracelet.
Come back again.
Oh, you're
You all
welcome.
need to have a bracelet like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
It
beautiful.
says ambition.
Yeah.
Ambitious.
It's
Oh,
ambitious.
it's ambitious. Yeah,
Ambitious.
That's
ambitious.
what she is.
But I want one of those too.
Miracle.
I need to have one of those
Miracle.
that says miracle.
Yeah.
Yes,
Beautiful.
you
Did
are.
you select the names?
Yeah, of course. Well, they're just words. I mean, I didn't make
But
them.
did you pick the words?
Yeah. Yeah, we did
course
word
you
of the year bracelets.
I love
Yeah,
it.
this is my side business.
Thank
I
you
love
so
it.
much.
Thank you
ladies. I
so much.
appreciate
Okay,
it.
we'll see you at your new
My
spot.
event.
I'm excited.
Yes.
It's a new
Yes.
event.
Gosh.